Charles75N here, and here we are. We have the Charles Green Motley Crue Mick Mars tribute guitar all ready to done. It is completely buffed out, ready to go. The only thing we need to do now is to cut out the cavities, and we can put this in the box and ship it off to him. And so really looking forward to that. So here is our front, and let me turn it over and turn it back over this way. And here is our back. And if you wanted to see in between the horns, and of course on the back, and so we are ready to get going and make this complete. And so the first thing that we're going to have to do here, is we're going to have to free up the neck pocket. And I already made a couple relief cuts because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to go ahead and start prying back anything from the top of the guitar. And so we're going to go ahead and just start cutting in here. And so the idea is I've made my relief cuts, and then I'm folding over all these little corners here. So it helps me better see where the line is, so I don't make a cut that I don't want to make. And so by doing that, I can start just getting rid of some material. Now this has been sitting in here for quite a while, so I want to be very, very careful, because here we are done with this, and I don't want to go ahead and mess it up any. And the other thing is, if we pull on it too hard, we run the risk of going ahead and ruining all the hard work that we've gone ahead and done here from the beginning. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to just work my way around very, very carefully. And of course, I'm trying really hard. I don't want to mess up his neck fitment at all either. So this guitar was already constructed. He already had it constructed, and so took it apart so we could do this. No, he didn't. That doesn't make any sense. It's a new body, really. All right, so we want to just be really careful, because I don't want to mess up the neck fitment. I know that the neck fits beautifully into this body, and I don't want my knife to slip, and I don't want things to happen, and I want to cut things exactly on their lines so we don't have some things here. And we also don't want to go ahead and pull back and ship any of our finishes physically on the guitar, which would be very easy to do.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish up trimming out this neck pocket here. We want to make sure that everything is nice and clean. And so you take that first cut as close as you can get it, but it's okay to leave that overlap, because you're going to have to come back and do some fine tuning. The most important thing is to go ahead and to take your time as you do it. And one of the interesting things I did here was I took the fabric and I stretched it over the neck pocket in order to protect the neck pocket. And I did, because I didn't want to mess up the neck fitment. This body and neck fit together so perfectly, I didn't want to change that at all. And so I took great pains to make sure that as I trimmed this out, that we were not changing any of the angles or any of that, and we were just making it perfect. It does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. You do that trimming the first time. You scrape with your razor blade. You come back and you do some sanding. There may be a little bit of clear that snuck its way in there, or glue or whatever, and you want to go make sure that you get that out as well. And of course, so now we're going to go ahead and get ready to start cutting for the pickup route here. And again, stick the knife in, do the crosshatch cut. That enables you to go ahead and fold all the sides down around the cavity there. And when you fold it down, you kind of get this sharp edge that you can kind of work with and cut better. And it actually assists you in the cutting. And so you take that big cut and you get the fabric out the way. And then you start working on what might be there. And you notice, if you look, every once in a while, you'll see me actually stick my finger in there and feel it. I want to see how close it is to the wood in the body. Is there a lip? Is there something? Is there a jagged edge that I need to go ahead and smooth?
I tried to cut this piece of fabric out and use it for the cover, but it didn't trim out the way that I wanted it to, and it didn't look great. So we decided not to use it and covered this up in tape again anyway, so that we could get all this out. Now this is just taping here, but I still want to be really careful with it because I don't want to yank off any of the finish once we get to the sides. And this is all stiff with clear, so we're going to go ahead and be very slow, very gentle. Again, we'll do the same thing as we did with our other cavities. Come all the way to the line. And you can see I can start lifting that out. Okay. But what you got to do is be careful, because you get overconfident and stuff starts coming out easy and it brings something else with it that you didn't want it to. So let's put that down before we have a problem. And the trick is to pull away from your finish. Rather than towards it. If you pull towards it, you run the risk of possibly lifting your finish.
All right, so here we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut the trim cavity. And instead of using the crosshatch pattern here, I'm just cutting along the outside. I've kind of felt my way to the edge and decided I want to cut that out cleanly, because I was hoping to use it for something and I didn't end up using it for anything. But we made our big cuts, and then we came back and made our smaller adjustment cuts. Then we did a bunch of scraping and a bunch of sanding, and got that to be nice and really clean, and that's what we were after there. But we're just going to keep going around here and getting all those little fine corners, anything where it could kind of lift up later on, and make sure it is the way we want to. We want this body to be perfect for Charels Green. We want him to be completely happy with it. So let's go ahead and now flip it over, because a fella just remembered that he hadn't cut out the bridge cavity, and so we might as well go ahead and do that. And so we kind of do that crosshatch pattern and work into that. Cut it off as clean as we can and do our fine trimming, all those nice things, and it came out pretty well. I tell you though, I get really nervous cutting these cavities at the end, because you know you're that close, and if you just mess up your finish, it's going to be really sucky, and it's going to really just have to go back to square one perhaps.
And we've got our Charels Green guitar body all ready to go. The only thing that we have really left to do is to go ahead and cut out the tuner holes, buff the headstock one more time, and then this is ready to go ahead and send. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to cut some cross holes in each of our tuner holes. Then we'll go ahead and open it up really gently with the reamer, and then we'll sandpaper down into the hole. Now the object here is really just to remove the fabric and the clear, and not actually make the hole bigger. Alright, so we go ahead and put right into the center of each hole a crosshatch pattern. I'm going to do that all together so that I can go ahead and put the knife aside. And I get really nervous doing these because, like, again, when I do the cutouts, we're all at finished product now, right? We have, so maybe one more buff. We don't want to mess up the whole finish on it. All right, so we'll go ahead and put our reamer in here. And again, we're going to go ahead and turn it gently, let it open it up. And it's going to cut most of that extra fabric there and the clear, but it's going to be really tough. So we're not putting any real pressure because I don't want to open the holes up any bigger than they already are. I don't want his tuners to suddenly not fit. But you see all that stuff that fell out here, that's that extra fabric. Now some of that extra fabric is in the hole. So there. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do the next one, and then we'll start fine tuning all those a little bit. And it's just a matter of, be gentle, let it go, don't be just cranking on it, because the reamer is strong enough, it will definitely dig into your wood, and you don't want to do that. You're just really, what you're really trying to do here is get your fabric out. So you don't want to, again, keep saying it, you just want to make your holes bigger. And if you start seeing wood come out, then you've applied way too much pressure. But I found that the reamer does a really nice job of cutting it pretty clean. There's a little cleanup that you'll have to do, but if you let the tool do its work instead of muscling it down, then you find you actually get a pretty nice result. Okay, so from there, what I like to do, grab a razor blade, and want to be very, very gentle, and come into the hole, just kind of scrape out that line right there, right?
So we've gone ahead and we've let our reamer do its work. We've trimmed it, and we're now just using that sandpaper to get the absolute best finish that we can. We don't want anything to interfere with the operation of the tuners or their fitment.
Now I'll come back here, wipe it off, and there we have it, a finished headstock, all ready to go. Charels Green's Motley Crue tribute guitar, it is all done, ready to be set out the door, and I think he came out rather nice. Look at that. See how the girls wraps around down here. If we turn it over in here, you can see where we've got the 4 skulls in here, where the Motley Crue kind of turns up into the horn here, and then it kind of comes over the side here, and on the back we have all bad things must come to an end. And so when Charles flips it over, it's going to look like this. Now, and we've got a little something in here for him, and it's going to, he doesn't know it's in there. He's seen the finished thing, but he hasn't seen that in it. So that's going to be a nice surprise for him when he does the unboxing. And of course we have our headstock here, Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood, looks really good there. As always, enjoy your guitar journey. Thank you for being part of mine.